do it.
Finally.
All right, here we go. Here's this week's edition of Movie Club. I didn't want to miss any of this awesome banter that I'm sure we're going to experience
Yeah, top
without
tier.
Eliza's involvement.
You said I look like a freak, so
We're finally
Missed
free.
that.
He's a sick freak.
He's a sick super freak.
hey, Atticus, I see you got those new AirPod Maxes. How you like them?
Oh, I love him, dude. I got him for my job.
Oh, nice. That's pretty
I'm in
cool.
like Zoom meetings all day. So I got a little tech budget, so that always helps.
AirPod Maxes, huh? Nice.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say,
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I probably wouldn't buy them myself, but you know, somebody else is
For
gonna
work,
foot the bill.
it's,
Hell yeah,
it's a
hell
dub, yeah.
You got
Yeah,
a
like-
you got a tech budget. You'd be a chump not to spend it.
It's always, it's like every company I've worked for, except like Doc Martens, they were like a Windows company. I don't know if I can I don't know if I can say that or not. I don't think it matters. But most companies are like Dell and Windows and everything, and I'm a Mac person. And so,
Oh shit! Oh,
who's there?
Oh. Who's that?
this is
Eliza?
this is my alarm.
Oh. That's your alarm to wake up for the podcast 1 minute before we're supposed
It was
to do
probably no. It was probably a snooze.
Okay. You don't even know. So anyway, but Couscous got a new job. What's up with you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, dude, getting whittled down every day by this job. So
Whittled.
that's true. I'm going to DC to see FKJ next week.
Dude, that's good. That's good stuff. That music is good stuff.
Oh, you started listening to more of it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
told
that's
you
pretty
I
good, huh?
added 2 of their albums, or 3 of them. I don't know how many they have, but added 3 of them to my Amazon account. So,
Nice.
he's on there.
Let's go.
Have you heard of this band, Couscous?
Yeah, I really like the producer Masego, and they used to do a bunch of work together. I don't know about anymore, but
I showed
yeah,
Dad the
FKJ
song
is good.
Tadao. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good song. That's a good
that's a
song.
good one.
I
agree.
was shocked because, like I said, we watched the video of it, Luke and I last week. So Luke and I last week didn't do a podcast of a trailer review, but we watched 5 trailers while we were just catching up together, which was kind of funny.
Yeah,
We're
nice.
Like, what the hell? Why didn't we
Hey.
just record?
If you're born for this life, you know what I mean.
Right.
Like this life chooses you. But yeah, I like that sound a lot. Do you listen to Home Shake, Luke? I think if you like FKJ, you'll like Home Shake. It's the dude from Tame Impala, but it's a lot like funkier.
Oh,
The thing like I said, to watch the video,
check that out.
you would have thought that there was, if you had just listened to the music, you would have thought there was like a 15-piece band. But it's just 2 people. And that's what I found so impressive and fascinating. So
Sampling stuff is crazy, man. You know what I mean? Because it's like you should watch the documentary Scratch. It's all about DJs and stuff like that. It's really good. And I really like Mixmaster Mike, the guy that was the Beastie Boys DJ, because he was literally doing it on like tape decks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive too.
So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they did a documentary on Apple TV about the Beastie Boys. Not the greatest in terms of, telling the story, but it's very interesting, some of the background that they present. And if you get a chance to watch it, I recommend it. I don't highly recommend it, but I would recommend it. It's
Beastie Boys are good.
Yeah, for somebody who likes and appreciates their music, it's interesting to see their evolution and where they came from and how they got to where they ended up. So
cool.
So, what did you guys think?
I thought I liked it. It has its own charm. So
we're talking about the movie The Winslow Boy. So.
I I didn't like it. I think that I think if we had gone and watched it as a play, like I hear the Terrence Rattigan play is insanely good, and if you ever get a chance to go see it as a play, you totally should. I got a little bit of a made-for-TV movie vibe from it, and I think it's just part of the subject matter, along with the people that they cast and how they shot it. It just wasn't very interesting to me. I liked the story, right? It was great. Like the meat and potatoes of the subject matter, the story, and some of the dialogue was good. It was shot in like it's the most boring movie we've watched cinematically, by I would say a
Really?
pretty large margin. Yeah, or it was just too subtle and it went over my head. I didn't care. I didn't care for it.
Okay, that's fair.
I will say everyone seemed like they did not really care that they were on the movie. They were kind of like very chill. Um, it doesn't seem like anyone was gonna like win any like Oscars for their performance. But I think it might have been deliberate.
Yes.
So
Interesting you picked up on that.
it did, yeah, it did seem like everyone was kind of like nonchalant about everything. So I was like, oh,
So
maybe it was a choice.
the acting that they had to do was quite deliberate because that's what those people were like. They were reserved. They were. Did anybody ever scream in that movie? Did anybody ever yell under these stressful moments? You never saw somebody raise their voice, or blurt out any expletives or anything like that,
Yeah.
because that was the nature of how they had to subdue their emotions in that Edwardian time.
Okay.
Or it's probably more Victorian at that point. It was in the early 1900s. But well, even Sir Robert says it at the end of the movie. He says, why is it that you don't want people to see your emotions? And he's like, yeah, when you start relying on your emotions to win an argument, then you're going to lose. I face these things with cold logic. That's how I win. So I think that coming at the end of the movie kind of explains why everybody had to be so methodical and controlled, and but
Okay, I'm sorry. That was actually a phone call.
you can answer.
Just second.
No,
Just
I'm not
second
gonna
alone.
do that.
Put him on speakerphone. Let me talk to him.
It's my mother. You want to talk to her?
Okay,
Becky,
wait.
drop her in.
Drop her in. No.
No, but even at the end, like when they announced that they, when the little boy, he's like, "Did we win?"
Yeah, the kid
And
didn't
he's
even
like,
know he was
"Yeah."
in the movies. Like,
And he was, and they were like,
Is that a fucking movies?
well, he said
I feel like
something
he should have
weird.
been
He
there.
said something like, would you look at
Like,
that?" Or something like
Yeah.
that. What did he say?
Right. That's what he said. Will you look at that? Yeah. But
I
that's
don't know.
Go on.
Like I think that for me, it was a lot of what I don't like about like heteronormative society, to where it's just like I'm gonna like spend my other kids' college fund, deteriorate my health, and do all of this stuff like because of my family's name. It's like, who fucking cares? Like it just, I don't know. It seemed insecure to me. You know what I mean? Like I think that I like to push the envelope, if you will, of and I think it's again just I was raised 100 years after all of this stuff, and in the '90s it was like, you don't like me, go fuck yourself, and kick some fucking rocks if you don't. But back then, one, I think society was smaller, and so the stakes, because Lola was like, well, I didn't like this movie because the stakes didn't seem high enough. And I was like, I don't agree with that. I think the stakes were really high for the time, if you understood how much implication behind what this kid had done, and affect to the time that it was in. It was a big deal, you know, getting kicked out of school, being accused of any misdeed that had to do with like theft or whatever. You know, it was a crime against the crown. And so, you know, but it was hard for me to get over the fact that it's like, dude, you're ruining the rest of your family's life. You're putting yourself into poor health, and you're putting this weight onto a bunch of people that are not consenting to this because of the pride of this linear vision, which, whether that is Denzel Washington putting his family in jeopardy to, you know, for street justice, or whether it's this guy, you know, spending his other son's, you know, tuition to what was it, Cambridge or whatever, Oxford, excuse me. And you know, so you know, his and all the dialogue was really hard to follow in certain cases, but to my understanding, his brother can't pay for Oxford and is having to pivot his career path now, which that seems like a bigger deal than, like, I think they would have been able to recoup their family's name in a different way if they had gone about this in a less egotistical way. That was my takeaway.
Okay, I get that. But so here's the thing. I don't know that the dad's initial argument for going down this path had anything to do with saving the family name. He just felt like his son did not do it, and I need to defend him.
But what's the root cause analysis of why he needed to defend his son?
Because they were calling him a liar. Nobody knew about this. And that was the other thing. Nigel Hawthorne, the dad, that actor who plays the dad.
Sure.
At one point, the wife Grace says, "No one would have known this if you hadn't made a big deal about it. He's good and he's doing well in school. Just drop it." And it's like, yes, I guess it's like a snowball going. Once he started down the road of going to prove his son's innocence, he was like, I'm going to do everything I can, you know, and part of that was publicity. And I really did like that whole component of the newspapers, the pencils, the fans, the parasols, all that, you know, we're claiming to save the Winslow boy, justice for the Winslow boy, blah, blah, blah. And because that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of the closest you get to social media back then, of just putting momentum behind something. But
right.
I agree with you to a certain extent that at some point the cause overtook the point. He couldn't stop. They just couldn't. But they almost stopped, right?
Yeah,
they almost stopped with the whole marriage business.
Well, and it's like, no, the marriage is not happening at the end of the movie.
Right.
The colonel or whatever, is just like, nope, like that's not going down. And you know, and I guess like at a certain point, right? You know, what I think is interesting about the theme of the movie is at a certain point, you know, when do you lose more by winning?
So there's a great line in No Country for Old Men, and the sheriff goes to talk to his uncle, and his uncle had been shot by somebody, and the uncle is paralyzed, so he's living in a trailer or an old shack somewhere out in the middle of the brush, and the sheriff says to his uncle, "Hey, I hear that that guy who shot you died in prison." And he says, "Yep, I heard that." He goes, "What would you have done if he had gotten out?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know. I guess, you know, the more you keep trying to get what's been taken from you, the more that keeps going out the door." You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you just said, is like, at what point is that, you know, what are you trying to do? You know, at what cost? are you trying to win? I guess is the whole thing. And I think that's that's an absolutely valid point in this movie. Why were they willing to sacrifice so much just to prove that Ronnie didn't do it?
Yeah, I don't know. Now that I think about it, the stakes were kind of low.
Low.
I mean, he was just forging signatures, right?
He was stealing,
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
stealing and
It's
forging.
a
it's a
small amount of money.
it's
It was
a
like
crime.
what?
5 shillings, and it's so the point. The reason that the stakes were high is that it's a federal crime against the crown, right? And back then, the crown was everything, right? It was top to bottom the most important aspect of polite society, and so it would have carried if they had not disproved that probably would have stuck with them for a while. And I don't agree with the sentiment that no one would have found out about it. Everyone would have found out about it eventually, and they wouldn't have been able to control the story. So I see it as a political move on the father's behalf, again, sticking to my original point, to protect the lineage and the name of his family, right? And I think that that's his root cause, whether he subconsciously or otherwise knew that going into it. I think that that's really what irked him initially, and that's what I don't agree with, dude. It's like, it's control yourself, bro, because what you're doing it felt very selfish to me. That's my take.
I still go back to the conversation when the father asked Ronnie, "Did you do this? Did you do this?" And Ronnie each time says no and no. That's all I need to hear. Despite all the stuff that happens with him, opening the letter, thinking about destroying the letter, all this stuff, I still think it just comes down to the dad saying, "No, my son is falsely
I feel
accused."
like you've done that to us before.
What?
Asked, well, at least me. Asked me if I did something, and I've been like, nope. You've
Hey,
been like, okay.
okay.
It's a,
What am I
it's
gonna
a
do?
classic dad. It's a classic
Classic dad
move.
move. Yeah,
Classic
that's
dad
what I was
move.
thinking.
I
That's what I
will
was thinking.
know. So don't lie. You have a bond. My father and I had a bond,
At one
and
point,
I almost never lied to him. And I never lied. Never. That's
Well,
defending your life. Well, maybe a white lie, but then when wrap it up. But so I get both sides of what you're saying, Couscous, and but I still go back to that whole snowball or train going down the track. You can't stop it; it's got to keep going, and you get blinded sometimes. I think I just think you get blinded by a cause,
right.
and it's. I mean, and that's a real danger in what happened.
I agree.
Like you said, I mean, the guy was on one cane to begin with, and he didn't even really need that. And then towards the end, he's got two freaking canes walking along. And did you notice how all the pictures and all the ornaments and vases and all that stuff had disappeared from the house?
I did
Oh,
not.
I didn't. They're
Oh,
Pretty
they're
cool.
hawking shit.
yeah, they're selling
Yeah.
stuff to pay for this.
Attention to
Yeah.
detail.
Yeah, so if you look at things, you can see like markouts of where pictures used to hang, and then I think they were very deliberate about showing certain things in the house about this thing, and then all of a sudden you look in later scenes and there's none of that stuff there. All these fancy vases and all that stuff.
Their sarcophagi are all gone.
Sarcophagi.
Sarcophagi. And so, Couscous, I find it very interesting that you say that it was to see it from a play perspective would be different, because the director of this is David Mamet. He wrote the screenplay and he's the director, and he's one of the greatest stage directors that we have, and stage playwrights also.
Yeah,
so,
I say stick to the stage, Mammoth.
All right.
I love David Mamet. Just so you know, like he always loads his play up with lots of swears and drinking. It's great. Like, but this one, I just didn't connect with it over the silver screen, you know. But
I
yeah,
could see how it would be a more powerful story live in a theater, yes. But I think he did enough, you know, little subtle things. Like you said, you guys didn't even notice how the house was being emptied out of treasures, basically, or, you know, valuables to pay for what was going on, which also would probably piss you off more because this is what he's really going all in.
Yeah, again, so I think that it's very, very
Hi,
selfish,
Lola.
you know. Hey, Loie. Oh, I forgot to give you my card. Sorry. You okay?
Yeah, that's great. I hate it.
Caught in
Lola
4K.
Lola almost went down.
Down.
4K.
4K.
Send it to the fail reel. But so again, I think that lends credence to my point that this guy is very selfish. That I think that this is a father who is so suffocated by societal norms and standards that he's willing to sacrifice the one. Like, you inherit so much of those things back then, right? So he's disrespecting the people that came before him, that built this legacy, that built these things, right, into their home, into their manor, into all of that stuff. Because I didn't get the vibe through the dialogue that he's a self-made man, right?
No. So he's not a lord or he's not like any of these people on Downton Abbey. He's a banker. He works at a bank. So he's not he doesn't have a title.
Sure.
So,
regardless, I think that back then you would still inherit quite a bit of that stuff, you know, especially if he's a banker, right?
Maybe. I mean, you got to earn your keep as a banker. It's not like these, you know, these people that are lords and ladies of a manor that are recouping the work from the people on their land. So
like what happens now.
Which is my little commie. But that's why the whole thing with the marriage was going sour, because he was going to give him £850, which back then was probably a lot of money. It was probably like $100,000, you know? And so I can't give it to you anymore because I'm using all the money to pay for, you know, Ronnie's defense. And I think that was also part of the reason why the marriage didn't go through, because not only were they not going to get that, but they weren't going to get the allowance from the general dad. He was going to cut him off too. So did you guys get the whole thing at the end with the secret about Robert Morton?
The crying stuff?
Well, no. Remember when Curry told the sister, whispered something in his ear?
No.
Oh. Well, they were going to, for him to drop the case, the opposition party was going to offer to make him prime minister. And that's why the daughter makes such a, you know, a big turnaround on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because she says, you know, I understand you've made sacrifices. And that's why she's like, well, I might have.
I thought they had the hots for each other the whole
time. They do. Well, if you look,
they definitely do.
Did you see the end? When the greatest line of the end is when she says to him that suffrage is a lost cause, and she goes, well, Mr. Sir Robert, you don't understand women. And then she goes, alas, I think this will be the last time we'll see each other. And he goes, I don't think it will be. Says, why do you say that? She goes, well, you don't understand men. You know, so it's like, yeah, they were going to get back together later.
I thought that line was a piece of shit too, because I don't like the idea that relentless courtship equals a marriage. Like you hear stories about like, oh yeah, like your mother, like your grandmother worked down at Saks Fifth Avenue, and I worked at the Bootery across the way, and I went in there every single day for 2 years, and she was married to somebody else or whatever, and I went in there and harassed her into marriage. You hear stories like that all the fucking time, and that's weird to me and a little toxic.
Well, neither of them are married.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, so we'll take the marriage aspect out of my example. Then you hear stories like that all the time, to where it's just like, yeah, like your grandmother politely said no 50 times, and it was that 51st time that really sunk it in there. You know, like I don't like the idea and the principle of wearing someone down into a relationship. Right? Seems a little culty to me.
Yeah, but that didn't occur.
No, but I think that the line and the phraseology is indicative of that concept, which I don't agree with.
Okay.
Like I don't want to see you again. The fuck you don't. Like, you know.
Well, I don't want to get into how you and Lola got together.
What do you mean?
She stole your phone number off of, which I think is quite brilliant. She
knew who I was. A friend of hers had my phone number. She politely asked for it, and he gave it to her.
Oh, okay, I got it. I misunderstood.
That's that. I think that's a little different.
I heard a little differently.
Yeah, so you can't gaslight me into how my wife and I got together. Thank you very much.
Remember when she committed? Remember when she committed a federal crime just to get your phone number?
Yeah,
remember that?
I'm talking about.
Lola,
I do.
Remember when Lola hacks the Pentagon to get my phone number? I remember that. Exactly how it happened.
Exactly how it happened. There's no question. But I get what I mean. I don't know. I think the problem for the movie in some aspects is it's all dialogue. There really is no action. That's all got to be telling the story, and that's why I wanted you, Luke, to look at how did he frame these stories? How did he frame these shots? You know, David Mamet is famous for saying, you give me a pencil and a piece of paper and 2 chairs, and I'll give you a compelling story. That's all I need. Give me 2 actors and to say what I'm writing, and believe me, you'll be hooked on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have
Oh, go ahead, Luke.
You know how I told you I was gonna make like a short movie, and I have an idea for one?
Yeah.
Well, this one, I don't want to say it on stream because I want it to be secret, because I think it's kind of a baller idea. I don't want to get taken. But it's about something that's like kind of like whatever, but I wanted to make it compelling.
But that's what it is.
It's kind of like a comedy thing too.
But that's how, I mean, and there's no violence, there's no cussing, there's no special effects. It's just straight telling a story, and that's what I love about it. You know, and I know I'm picking simple movies, you know, Being There,
a straight story.
A straight story, yes.
You can't even remember the name to these sleeping pills, man. Like,
damn. I will say they're rather boring.
I'm not going to stop. You guys aren't going to discourage me. I'm not putting anything flashy.
I think it's a power move, to be honest with you.
A power move? What do you mean?
Let's see how much of my kids' time we can waste before they actually call me out on it. I've had enough. Right here, right now.
Let's see how many times they have to rent this movie twice. This is the second movie I've rented twice, by the way.
Oh shit! What was the first one?
I think it was.
Don't say the straight story.
No.
The straight story was leaps and bounds better than this.
It was the one with the different perspectives of the same story.
Oh, Rashomon,
yeah.
You should buy that. You should watch that movie over and over again. You want to make
good.
movies?
You know what? The second time it was really good.
But you weren't involved in that review.
I'd rather watch all of the various animes that are inspired by Rashomon. I got the point the first time, you know.
So I don't know how we got on the subject, but I was telling. Oh, I was listing off the movies that you and I watched the trailers for, Luke, and I said Paprika, and she goes, "What movie is that?" Or I was telling Lisa this, and so we watched
So
a trailer.
good.
I I told her, I showed her, we watched a trailer. She goes, "Oh my god, we got to watch that." And I have to say, rewatching the trailer, I was like, "Wow, yeah, we do have to watch this." So anyway,
So good. One of
somewhere
the
down the
greatest
road,
movies of all time. Yeah.
one of the
Hell
greatest
yeah.
movies of all time.
The
Part two.
inspiration
Yeah.
for Inception.
Yeah, I hear you. But so anyway, let's get to. I'm giving it two thumbs up. I love it. Great storytelling, and man,
That's
I liked it.
where's
stinky
Eliza when I
thumbs
need
down.
her?
I liked it. Didn't love it.
Yeah, I get it. It's not like I said. It's not.
It almost felt like a homework assignment watching it.
Man, that's not.
It did. Yeah. If you want to talk about the vibe of the movie, it's a hungover teacher in a history class. Like, this will pass. This will be fine. So may have him watch a video. Wheeling in that old TV, you know.
Hey guys, movie day. What we watching?
movie
Winslow
day.
boy.
I went to Chili's 2 last night.
Oh, bro.
So, did you guys? I'm sure you guys didn't have film strips when you were going through school, right?
No,
Where it was a
we
little
barely
thing.
had overhead projectors.
No, these were things where they had it was a lesson, and it was a cassette player that you played, and there was it was like way before PowerPoint and all this stuff, and it was like a plastic film strip that would go through, and so a beep would come on the audio, and then you were supposed to turn the film strip, and then turn the film strip, and then every time it turned it, it went to a new frame, which was tantamount to a slide on PowerPoint, right? And so we were doing this in school, and we had this substitute teacher, Mrs. Haggerty was her name, and everything all right? Uh-oh. Get the pistol.
I think Margie may have fallen. Give me a second.
Uh-oh. Okay. Oh my goodness.
That would not be good.
No. We'll have to cut it short. Close the door. But anyway, turn the film strip, and then it runs through. And then somebody said, "Hey, Mrs. Haggerty, we got to watch the other side." And she's like, "What?" "Oh yeah, you got to flip it and then watch the other side of the film strip." And she's like, "Oh my Lord, I have never done this." And so we did it. And sure enough, she fell for it. And she rewound the tape, and she started doing it again. And she didn't catch on the fact that everything was backwards, and it was showing the same slides but just in reverse order.
Bullies.
Yeah, it was something.
Sinister kids.
Oh yeah, it was bad. We were hoodlums.
I never did anything to my teachers.
Mm.
I ever tell you about that one time that teacher went crazy?
No.
Well, so I'm gonna give you some context. So chemistry class, right? Me, science genius. Never been wrong about science my entire life. Just a natural intuition for it. I always knew it. So I was in her class, and for every once in a while she'd say something wrong, and I'd just be like, "Hey, just small correction. I feel like I don't want everyone in the class learning this wrong, but I think this was incorrect." And she would be like, "Hey, shut up." And I'd be like, "Oh, sorry. Okay." And I wasn't really a big fan of doing my homework in her class because I would ace all the tests. And
Right.
so one day we're in class and she starts going off the rails to this one kid. She was kind of crazy. She starts going off the rails to this one kid for in my opinion for no reason, right? So she's just like flying off the handle, kicks him out of the class, and I'm like, wow, that was crazy, man. And later on in the day, I get called in to the dean's office, and they're like, "Hey, did anything weird happen in this class?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." someone someone just asked like a simple question and she flew off the rails and kicked him out. And I was like, "But this seems very like up to her behavior." And then the next day we come in. Oh wait, no. Maybe it was that day prior. But I think the real reason I was in that dean's office was because earlier in that same class, she had said, "Hey, I know one of y'all stole." No, this was the next day. This was the next day. Never mind. Correction. This is the next day. Next day, uh, I'm back in her class again, and she goes, "Hey, I know one of you in this room stole my M&Ms, my bag of M&Ms." And she was looking at me the whole time, and I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Is she talking about me?"
You're the fucking Winslow boy, man.
She tried to pin me, and then that's why I was sent to the dean's office in the first place. And it ended up I had no idea. Someone else had done it, and I just ratted on her the whole
That's perfect. You're the
I
Winslow boy.
yeah. I also remember them saying, "Wait, did anything else happen?" And I was like, "No."
Dude, one of my favorite stories that you told me about your high school was your calculus thing, to where you were like supposedly doing a group project with people,
Oh
and
yeah.
the all the rest of them they didn't have any fucking clue of how to solve the calculus problem, and you're solving it, but you're solving it in a different way, but you get the right answer. And you're like, no, you can do it this way. Yeah, but that's not how she showed us. And you're like, yeah, but the answer is correct. I'm doing it this way because this makes more sense. It's fewer steps. And they're like, no, dude, you're gonna fuck us over. That's not how we're supposed to do it. No, look, you were supposed to get the right answer, aren't we? And they're like, well, yeah. And then if your calculus teacher comes and looks at it and sees that it's the right answer, and is like, "How did you do this?"
She's okay, folks.
Okay, good.
Good.
And it's like, "How did you do this?" And you're
What?
like, "Well, I did it this way." And she's like, "I understand, but this shouldn't make sense. This shouldn't work out." I'm like, "What the fuck? Who cares? You solved the problem, you solved the equation, and you did it better than how she was teaching it."
I really liked math and science. I will say
I
that.
I, I always find that story super fascinating about how you're like, you just figured it out. You just knew how to do it. So she's all right. No
We had
hit.
we had a little spill, yeah, but that's all right.
Oh,
She has a balance thing, and so every once in a while we'll take a little tumble. But she's a tough broad, so
all right. All right.
she's all right. But it's always
Okay.
a little scary whenever it happens. So
All right. So, yeah, as for me, I think it's got a high rewatchability. Not Margie Falling, but the movie.
wait till you see your fall.
Oh well, if we get a little recording of that, maybe we will. We'll put that on special edition of Movie
Special
Club,
edition, our own movie, The Great Trip.
The Great Trip. But so I'm giving it a 9. I really love it. I think it's fantastic.
9?
Yes, a 9.
Oh boy.
I give it a solid 4.9.
Oh God, I'm hurting. Goose, come on.
It's like a 2, man. and by 2 I mean,
Oh, a number 2?
a number 2.
Oh, fuck
But
me.
the
The last time I'm doing one of my reviews without Eliza here to support me.
I'll say this: the older movies tend to. I guess this isn't even an older movie. It's like a remake of an older movie, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost
me the
rented
48.
the Winslow 1974.
Yeah, don't. That's why I was specific. David Mamet, 1999. Anyway, Hey, I think Eliza's actually the one who's up for the next movie, but in her absence, who's next? Couscous? Or is it Luke?
I think it's me.
I think it's
Okay.
Luke.
Because who was last time?
We just watched one of mine, Mind Game, right? And then I
Mind
don't
Game.
think Luke hasn't
Mine.
picked between then and then, right?
Yeah, I don't think I picked.
Here, I can
Yo.
let you know.
What are we feeling about scary movies?
I
Because
don't.
I have a favorite scary movie.
I'm not gonna watch The Audition again.
I
I
was thinking
haven't
about
watched that.
That
I'd
was
love to
brutal.
watch it.
I was
Brutal.
thinking about Hereditary.
Hereditary? Well, Eliza suggested a scary movie and we were all okay with it. And I
Okay.
think, aren't we gonna do Hereditary? Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm down. Let's watch it.
Yes.
Is this a trigger warning movie, Luke?
I
For
mean,
what?
it can be. I mean, just horrible things in general.
Is there any sexual assault in it? Because we got to give a heads up with certain
I don't
certain
think so.
members of
I
my
don't think
family
so.
with that.
Oh.
Okay.
Gabriel Byrne? Tony Colletti? Oh, this is like a good cast. Okay, let's watch the trailer. Hey,
be
you know
so
what?
good.
I'm a big believer. Just like Eliza said when I chose this movie. Hey, it's your choice. Watch whatever you want. Choose whatever you want. I mean, that shouldn't be.
You want to pick a horse tranquilizer embodied in the film? That's up to you.
That's up to you.
That's up to you. Melatonin
Nobody's-
had a baby with horse trank, a horse trank.
All right, here we go. Watch.
Quiet, everybody.
Come on, Peter. It's your suit.
It's heartening to see so many strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious. My mother was a very secretive and private woman. It's Grandma. You know you were her favorite, right? Even when you were a little baby, she wouldn't let me feed you because she needed to feed you. She was a very difficult woman, which maybe explains me.
I recognize you from your mother.
What?
Sometimes I swear I can feel them in the room. She isn't gone.
She had private rituals, private friends.
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die,
And she wasn't altogether there. At the end.
Mom?
I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this.
What's happening? Peter! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Raise the house! Mom, what's happening? Make it stop! Make it stop!
I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
Yeah, it's great.
That looks pretty damn scary.
No, it's 100% the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Really?
A24 serves it up. Like
I'll say this.
they don't mess around.
I don't
Serves.
regularly get scared by scary movies. I think most of them are pretty corny, but that one made me like think about life
Yeah.
and whether or not I was alone and scared.
You know, Tony Colletti, she was in The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
She was the mom in The Sixth Sense. I See Dead People.
Classic scary mom.
Yeah.
Ari Aster's the director.
Who?
Did Ari
Har-
Aster?
Oh, I was like Harvey Firestein?
He's good. He's really good. All of his movies are scary as hell.
It's terrible. All right. Yeah, I'm up for that. That'd be good.
Let's do it, man. Yeah,
In the
I'm ready to
spirit of
get
Halloween.
freaked out.
Yeah, it'll be perfect for the Saturday before Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Well, a week before, but Yeah, I'm on board 100%.
And then just so you guys know, Liza and I cannot do next weekend because we're going to be at our cousin Connor and Jesse's wedding.
I'll be in Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're not doing next weekend. Perfect. Good to
DC.
know.
What are you
All
doing
right.
in DC again, Luke?
I'm seeing FKJ
Oh, yeah, that's right.
with my friends
My
and my girlfriend.
All right.
And your girlfriend.
I know.
Just so we
Oh.
don't bore, or we've already gone over this.
She's also my friend.
We don't want to. We've already gone over this, so that'll wrap it up for this week's edition of Movie Club. The fantastic and phenomenal Winslow boy. Join us next week, and sometime down the road. Please subscribe, like, and subscribe if you enjoy any of our videos, because we really would love to get to
Like and subscribe. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Like and subscribe if you like any of us, because we'll be here every week. If you
Or if
don't
you-
really care for Atticus, but you love me,
That's fine.
I'm here.
We want to get to
Join the club, I say.
we want to get to 10,000 subscribers, and we're almost there.
Yep.
You like
We
Atticus.
need about 9,900.
I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty close compared to Infinity.
Yeah, it's closer to that than we're closer to 10,000 than we are Infinity.
With
I'm
that
closer
said,
to being a millionaire
it.
than